Scion A. He's pretty expensive. I could probably enlist the Crucible Knights now too to come and help me fight against what's his face? Oh, apparently I'm supposed to go talk to What's-Her-Face first. Alright. Excuse me while I continue to run around. Assassins! Oh, I just slept. Yeah, I'll have to go kick this guy's ass on the battlefield pretty soon. Keep putting it off. We'll see, because I'm not ready to dish out $10,000 to hire an army. Not yet. I can afford it. Just...
How fares your search?
If I'm going to do this for you, I think it's time you told me everything about Faust.
I've told you everything you need to know.
But not everything.
It's only right that you know everything. When I was younger, before Dunreed Row, I had many suitors. These were fine-looking men of good stock. But I could see their thoughts, and they were unimpressive. Boys' thoughts. I toyed with their affections. I resented all of them.
The puppy looks really weird.
And then I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. But he understood me. He knew me at a glance, told me things I didn't know about myself. He was neither handsome nor charming.
I think I've heard all I need to
know. It was all I ever wanted. We made a game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. Sometimes the information was very sensitive. And then one day he asked me if I trusted him. I said I did. Next I knew I was donning a silver mask and swearing oaths to Woodica. Using my gift for the leaden key still felt like a game to me, so I did it. I did it because it pleased him.
But it didn't last.
I don't like living in the dark. It's a powerless, hopeless feeling. Every day I did things without knowing their purpose. Every day I loved a man without knowing his thoughts of me. I sensed that there were things he wanted to tell me. I sensed that he knew everything the leaden key was created to hide. But Theos was unyielding. One day I disappeared without a word. He would kill me for it, and I knew that. It's their rule. I just wanted to see him plunge the knife, because then I would know. But the day never came. He has left me to wonder. I have devoted my years to learning everything I could about him. in hopes I would find some clue as to who he really was and why he felt he had to keep his secrets locked away. I have precious little to show for it. Just an old woman nagged by old thoughts. And that is truly everything I can tell you about Theos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
So let's talk about those animancy hearings then.
What of them?
Knights of the Crucible have accepted me into their delegation.
Good. Avar Wolfgren looks to the Crucible Knights as a voice of reason and order. Speaking from their section should lend you credibility with him.
Cool.
You need waste no more time here. Get to the palace. Make your case to the Duke. With him on our side, all of Deerwood can be mobilized against the Leaden Key, and Theos can be rooted out. I only wish I could be there to see it. There is a very old bottle of a very good brandy that I have been saving for a special day. If you hurry back afterward, there may be a little left for you. Off with you. You're going to do very well in there.
She's totally gonna be dead by the time I get back.
Yes?
We're never gonna have that drink of brandy. 'Tis the way of the fantasy game. It's like saying she's got 2 days before retirement. Oh boy, assassins. I was wondering when they'd show up. These guys are just, they just don't give a shit. They're just like, oh, yeah, this happens. The puppy. Actually, don't bother with him. Get him.
Let's go.
Oh, whoops.
Let's go.
Sorry, I didn't even see him. I guess grizzled bastards got him. No big deal. Guys in your bloody notes and shadows. Anywho, onwards and upwards. Tip tap. Ooh, do I get to sit on the balcony? Oh. Knew it! The room below was animated amidst a heated debate. All the representative groups are easily discerned by the crowd. Crucible knights stiff in their noisy armor sit in one section, and another well-dressed members of the House of Domenial, casual, watching with predator interest. Still elsewhere in the ramshackle, dozens who have made no special effort to dress up for the liege lord. Interspersed are the animancers of the academic robes with expressions either sour or concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
So you admit, Master Barask, that animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
The experiment failed, yes, but his work...
Sabotage.
Our new delegate from the Knights of the Crucible. What makes you say sabotage?
I met a false patient at Brackenberry's sanitarium who's tampered with Azo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children.
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
Oh man, am I taking his side or not? This is a responsible scientist who is manipulated. What did Azo did to Graham was not the work of a responsible scientist.
Horseshit! These Animancers can't be trusted! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill! Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves!
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justiciar! You turn a blind eye, and look what happens!
Crucible Knights are blameless here. It was not the workings of animancy, but an ancient device in Tir Noeth.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
I ask only that you listen to what I have to say. Make your own judgment.
Very well. Tell us what you claim to have seen in Heritage Hill.
Tir Noeth houses an Angwithan machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was the machine that made the district undead.
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of Animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
I have reason to believe there were others in the tower who might have done this.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point! Everywhere there's Animancers, there's disaster! We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge!
Ha! Wrong bridge indeed.
It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it!
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son, my wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs, he couldn't cough up. My daughter, we put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker!
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold?
Why would you say that? I don't know what's going on. The crab begins to mutter the sound of taking a doubtful character. Right idea, Watcher. This taking his hearing by the curly ones. Don't waste your chance. Weidwin's legacy is the creation of the Leaden Key. Cain and Azo's downfall was their work, and it was the Tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want Animancy to fall. The dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I have seen them in the ruins of Air Glanfith, operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls near towns like Gilded Vale and Deerford, where the legacy is universal. As a Watcher, I've heard their dead confess their plot. They're stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
Oh, backhanded slap. You shame your order by dismissing the truth before hearing it, Madame. I expected better from a Knight of the Crucible.
You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this.
Oh god,
Help
I don't...
us believe you.
Look out. For science practice in many parts of the world, or the group of people hates animancy and wants it suppressed. What? How does that explain anything? I know it's supposed to be like a freaking metaphor, but or analogy. One sec. All right. What's more likely? The gods are destroying Deerwood for a science practice in many parts of the world, or a group of people hates animancy and wants it suppressed. Another guess throw her out on our ass, Your Grace. She's wasting our time. Shall I tell you then robes of people were of the runes inscribed in a dead language, swearing an oath to Woodica to seal knowledge with a key of lead? Sound like children to you?
I don't know about all of this.
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's like... either I'm throwing them under the bus, or they're gonna help me, and I don't know which one it is. Knights of the Crucible were instrumental in aiding my investigation.
I see. I'm impressed the Knights seized such an unlikely opportunity to find an end to all of this. But these hearings are about more than Weidwin's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
This is like the middle. This is a spectrum, is what this is. Animancers serve their own ambitions in their own purses. Giving them this power is like setting a child loose in the armory.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me collect my thoughts. And our new delegate, who, if nothing else, has made this final day a little more interesting. The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement. Ramir de Barash, representing the interests of animancers in Deerwood. Step forward.
Your Grace.
The arguments for and against animancy are both strong in their own way. I must be careful in my judgment.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing?
No! Avenge the Duke! No, no, wait!
Stop this at once!
Oh, that was dramatic.
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
I just fell over. The words "shall I end it for you" ring in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, screams and clashing weapons fading to silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theos stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers, you among them, clustered around a wide circular pit carved of stone. He dresses a woman bound backward over a large iron wheel overlooking the great stone maw. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face look like melted candle wax. Black and red seeping in the angle of her back suggests the spine in ruins, yet for all that her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, her words come out between strangled breaths.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant who begins untying her from the wheel. Open your eyes to the beamed ceiling of the palace grand entry hall. The clangs of metal striking metal waft in from outside alongside the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Theos is gone. Eater leans in, his head upside down in your sight as he peers down from you above. Hey, you're alive! He looked over you, frowning. Can you move? We shouldn't stick around. When Deerwoodens get stirred up like this, they like to start burning things. Off to the side, you could hear the clinking rustle of chainmail, and as you look over to see a wounded guard slumped against the wall, he's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it's too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb, she's the only one. She must be told. She'll know what to do. Please find her, tell her everything. Oh, I can't loot people's bodies. Don't go out there, there's rioting in the streets. Well, I'm going out there. Ooh, everything's on fire. I hope I looted all those boxes. Oh, I can't go in there. Can't go that way. I'm just gonna ignore all this. I guess I can't choose where to go. Ooh, boots. Oh dear. Does the fountain seriously have blood in it? I may or may not have lit everything on fire. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I touch things. Oh no. I told you! Why is everything I touch turned to shit? Yeah, I'll take your egg. You're certainly not using it anymore. Everybody. DED. Something glowy in the other room. Eh? Lady Webb lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion propping her back upright. The blood pooled beneath a gash in her chest is tacky and nearly dry. A shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her dangling hand. You can feel the faint aura of her fading essence in your kin. You make contact and are immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When it calms, you find yourself in the same room, lying in the bed with a glass brandy in your hand. Through the walls from the street outside come the sounds of screams and shattering glass and the cacophony of an angry mob. You take a sip and it warms your gullet. Across the room, the door opens behind a patient, steady push. Into the room walks Theos, the floorboards creaking beneath the deliberate steps. You wait until the last of the brandy has trickled down your throat before you speak.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
You're concentrating, focusing with all your energy. It feels as though you're driving a stone wall over and over, but it cracks suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing a vaguest wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
I've had time to practice.
Ah.
He walks over the table and raises a half-empty brandy bottle to eye level. He seems to approve of the selection and begins to reach for an empty glass.
I was saving that for someone.
Pity.
He places the brandy bottle
You
on the
know
table.
this is how it has to be.
His words come freely, absent of all doubt. He draws a long curved knife from his belt, smeared with fresh blood. With his left hand, he gently pins your sternum and raises the knife in the other, its point dangling above your heart.
Prove it.
Theos slips the knife between your ribs and it pushes it through. Layer of tissue separate with brittle, papery stiffness and blood wells up around the blade. A pulse of reflex causes you to drop your glass to the floor and you hear it shatter. With the last of your strength, you take his knife in your hand, in both ears, a question radiant in your mind. For an instant, to your great surprise, the pathway to his mind is left open to you, unguarded, and the answer comes, simple, cataclysmic in its reordering of your thoughts. As Lady Webb, you feel as though you have the answer you've searched for all your life, but in your own mind, her understanding lies just beyond your reach. You look at Theos with wide eyes as if someone's seeing you for the first time and draw your last breath as black, velvety darkness descends over you.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenbury Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the Leaden Key itself.
So that's why it's been on my map for like the entire frickin' time. This must be Act 2, finally.